Yeah, you made it lock in. Court lights flicker, I'm feeling that tip-off fever. NBA dreams spin tight like a crossover sleeper. Fourth and inches in the cold, crowd breathing like smoke. NFL grit in my voice when the pressure get woke. Engine scream through the night, that F1 razor. Lines cut clean, turn sharp like a hometown savior. NASCAR drift in my blood when the pace gets wild. I talk speed like a veteran, move calm like a smile. Legends born out of sweat, out of heartbreaks echo. I break plays down smooth, call the game like a maestro. Every lane that we touch, every story we show, this is where the truth runs. The NotBland Show. Fast, race, whole crowd froze. Big drives, deep shots, watch the moment explode. Every angle hit heavy with a champion's glow. Step into the kingdom, the NotBland Show.
Lock in.
You made it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get locked into the NotBland Show. I'm your host, Dujane Bland, and today we're just going to talk a lot of sports, whether it's drag racing, NHRA, IHRA. We're going to talk a little bit about the conclusion of the NBA Finals and the Knickhausen win for the New York Knickerbockers. I'm looking forward to this show. It's going to be real fun. Gonna really talk about a lot of different things, and whatever you guys put in the comments, we're going to talk about that as well. What's going on, family? Glad to have you here for another episode of the show. We are going to have a good time. What's up, Blake? Doing great, man. And let's go. So, right out of the gate, we're going to talk about the Knickhausen, the New York Knicks. And look, it should have been over in 4. It really should have been over in 4. But we'll settle. I told y'all, man, Joe Jack, jumping Jack, Jack in the box. It was Knicks in 5. I was expecting 4. But okay. No problem at all. What's up, man? What's up? Appreciate you. Look, there's a difference here with every sport. Like, youth and vigor matter to a degree. Now, veteran leadership also matter. Now, check this out, though. If the San Antonio Spurs were coached by a veteran coach, somebody, let's say, like a Phil Jackson, their old coach, Popovich, does this team win? And I'll tell you, probably 100 times over, yes, they win this NBA Finals. Because, see, there's a little bit of that veteran leadership that can hone in a lot of the rookie type, nature of young players in these types of moments. You can correct certain things. Look at Wemby, for instance. I know it's come out after this whole entire thing of the finals that he's kind of a villain now. The guy just doesn't hone in his emotions very well. Did a great job, I thought, in the game that they did win, getting in his opponent's head. But as much as one time that he was able to do that, the other 4, they were in his head. He should have been called for way more flagrant fouls than what was given. All the moments are out there for you to see, whether it's on the artist formerly known as Twitter or TikTok. They're out there. And there are some immature moments from this ball club that really showed up in why they completely lost this entire series. And, Wemby talked about them. They were, the best that they were the best in the series, but you were good for 3 quarters. And I'm gonna tell you, on any level of sport, no one gives a you know what about whether you're good through 3 quarters. Because you know what the quarter that matters? Well, other than hockey, there's 3 periods. It's the last one. Doesn't matter what you did in the first or second. In other sports, it doesn't matter what you did in the first 3 quarters. What do you do in the fourth quarter? It is about closing. Always be closing. And what they didn't do is close out games. They had them. They had them in, what was that game? That was game 3, I believe, where they come back from. They were buried. The Knicks were buried, and coaching, young coach, made some adjustments that he shouldn't have made because they felt like they had the game won. They were playing like they had the game won. That gets you beat every time because veterans don't quit. There's a lot of veteran leadership on that Knicks basketball team led by Jalen Bronson, who, just had a hell of series, hell of entire NBA finals. He deserves the respect of being one of the top tier players in this league because he took over games at times. But you look at Karl Anthony Towns, another guy, a lot of these guys, you look at Josh Hart, Jordan Carlson, all those players had a role and knew what their role was, and they played it well. Now, when the Spurs played well in those first 2 and 3 quarters, those guys knew their role, played very well. But when things kind of get tight, they get tight, and coaching gets tight because you haven't been there before. And you were coaching somebody in Brown that's been here and done that. He's been assistants on championship teams, and he's been in a coach in these types of pressure cookers. And that makes a huge difference, more than people think, especially, and it's on any level of sport. NFL, MLB, it all matters. And I think we like to say that we believe that this Spurs team will be back here next year. And there's a lot of times that we've said that, and those teams never really make it back. We're going to see. It's going to have to be a wait and see. In sports, there's so many things and so many variables that can happen. Your star can get injured and be out for a handful of games. And those handful of games, your team isn't able to stay afloat and play 500 basketball, and then you're behind the 8 ball, and you get into the playing game, those playing games, and maybe your star comes back, but your star's rusty, hasn't played a lot of games, so you may not get there again. But given the youth of this basketball team, its leader in Wemby, I think that they do have an opportunity to get back here again. Guys like Dylan Harper and Darian Fox, made a lot of mistakes, but that's part of being part of a young basketball team, also being coached by a young coach. But the Knicks winning first championship since I believe it's like 73, amazing. And yes, Danhausen is literally the Gage Herrera of WWE. I mean, since the uncursing, I think it was like 15 or 16-1. So you can't deny Danhausen. And I love the fact that he's part of this. It's huge for him as a talent. It's huge for WWE as well. I mean, they're loving it. It's free creative that they didn't have to write. Lord forbid they have to write some creative. That Monday night wasn't that great. Um, the Pitts podcast says Brown made the Sacramento Kings look like the next dynasty in the making in 23. He really did. I mean, he doesn't get a lot of credit for the work that he has put in as a coach. He doesn't. And thank you. We try to do our best here. Yeah, I'm loving all the housings, and it's huge. I don't understand. I don't understand. And yes, on the plus side, the New York fans made us in Philly look like peaceful. Yes, made you look very peaceful. I don't understand the wrecking of things and destroying things when big wins happen. I don't understand that for the life of me. You tear up your city after you just won a sports championship. I don't know. I don't know. Expose the lack of killer mentality. Exactly. It really does. And like I said, he talked about being in someone else's head, but for most of the series, they were in his. And the level of immaturity um, at the podium after the game, how he left the podium, it's not a good look, man. It really isn't. And you really can't, you can't have those types of things and those types of moments. It's all right to have the emotion. I get it. You know what I mean? I do. But at the end of the day, you have to be you're the face of this franchise, and it requires you to have a level of professionalism uh, higher than those on your team. So understand the frustration. I don't understand some of the things that were said, uh, and you have to do better. Have to do better. Mac 1320 says I thought a basketball was Travis Shoemake celebrating out his window with a speaker. Hey, it's so awesome, man. It's so awesome to see everything that's been going on with all of that. Uh, possibly, it won't be this year. Also depends on all my other work that I do, being that I do work in drag racing. So that schedule plays a part. Says you're a Washington fan. You forgot what winning is like. Uh, no, like I said, as being part of NFL media, I really just I don't have fandom. I like a lot of different players. Of course, Washington will always be home and will always be. It'll be exciting. It's exciting to watch them be respectable and actually a team that you feel like has a chance to win every week. But I really I don't have fandom. So I do cheer for the Chargers. That's I my team died when they called them the Commanders, and people can say what they want, but it's different for me. And I don't have I'm a huge fan of several different people on that team. Of course, that man, number five, JD5, huge fan, but I watched him a lot in college as well. So um, it'll be nice. I'm hoping that soon that they can win a Super Bowl here. But I do think last year was an anomaly, and they'll find their way back. Injuries do play a bigger role in football than most people think. New York fans were just a little edgy. Yeah, just a little bit. It was a little much, if you ask me. But New York Knicks get the dub. Really happy for that town and those fans. Um, it, long time coming, and they looked good doing it. So really excited for them. Well, man, changing gears here and looking ahead to the ThunderValley Nationals, and we had an opportunity to talk to Antron Brown on the Power Hour here about 40 minutes ago or more, and it was interesting to listen to him talk about the track conditions that everybody was complaining about, especially after round one. Um, I'm all I'm all for certain things, but I'm really getting tired of the whining and crying and complaining about track conditions. Track was green, okay, then tuned to a green track. Everybody knew that the temperature was 135-degree track temperature in round one. So, given that there may have been times, and there are times where they have gone down and run low 80s, high 70s in those type of conditions, although there was rubber on the surface, fuel cars had not been down that surface. So it seems to me to at least get a level of data, because you got 2 sessions, so you have an opportunity to go number one, is to see it. If you go out there and it breaks loose because you didn't have enough, fine. That happens too. But to go out there and every single fuel car was looking to get low numbers. The top fuel cars were set up to run 370s. Very clear. Track was not ready for that. Funny cars set up to go 390s. Low 390s, that is. Track was not ready for that. So it's time that these tuners, drivers, you take what the track is giving you. And the days of tuning to compound is obviously over. That adjustment had been made a while ago now. So get with the program. You guys are able to run faster because you have more assistance. That assistance is no longer there. And it shouldn't be. There's a level of prep that should be done. Then everything else is on you. And as the day goes on, and as the weekend went on, the track got better. And Antron made the comment that, yes, there was rubber on the racetrack, but there's no fuel cars went down. It's different when the nitro cars go down that surface and lay rubber down. It changes it just a bit and kind of brings it in a little bit. So yeah, they had sportsman cars go down. They've had a good bit of cars go down, but it's nothing like having the nitro cars go down the racetrack. So I just say do what you're supposed to do, and let's not try to reinvent the wheel or do something that's not obviously is not going to hold, and then have the nerve to complain about it later. There's really nothing to complain about. It was on you. You're the one that went out there and tuned it and didn't hit the mark. You missed the mark. That's not on anybody but you. Because the surface was great and everybody loved the surface. It's just tricky. And sometimes in drag racing, it's going to be like that. You are not going to be dealt pristine conditions every time. So we had some good winners here. Leah getting the win for the Epping Nationals was great for her and that team. They've worked extremely hard over the last, over the last year with Tony in the car for 2. It's big deal. It's a big deal for them, and it's a big deal for her. They were really close before she had to get out or got out of the car. They were very close to winning, and it was cool to see them get it done. They would have gotten it done on Sunday. For whatever reason, they just missed on that one. But I thought they had an opportunity to win. I did pick her to win Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. Um, yeah, you're going to need Danhausen to uncurse the Pacers too. The Pacers have been cursed since the whole incident of Ron Meta World Peace going into the stands. If you have not seen that documentary, you need to see that documentary because those guys got killed, and I knew that from the beginning. Those guys got killed for what happened out there, but to me, it had nothing to do with the players. The fans caused that to happen, and those guys were defending themselves. Because I'm sorry, if a fan comes out of the stands with his fist balled up on my turf, you're gonna get these hands. Sorry. And the way the news spun that was terrible. And a lot of those guys' careers were never the same after that. But it really had a lot to do with fans. And then you'll see some fans that were involved in it that got cold cocked because they came onto the floor with their fist balled up, and then they got the nerve to act like they didn't do anything. It's like, come on, man. Like, you're in their space. It's a hostile environment, and those things, when those things go down, they were protecting themselves at this point. Chairs and everything else was being thrown, but it started with one guy who threw his beer on to Ron Artest, who he had no business doing that. That's like spitting on somebody. So I know went off on a tangent, but you know what I'm saying. Um, but I'm really excited about Leah and that car. There really are a good group of cars out there, but there are just two cars that are head above heels in Top Fuel that are just better than the rest, and that's Sean and Doug. They've got it. They've had it locked in since week one. I think with this win, if you start looking at the numbers that the Mako Tools team has been putting together with Antron and AB Motorsports, I think this win really proves out that they're trending in the right direction. I think you'll see a little bit more level of consistency from Brian Karate and the team. Look at the conditions that a lot of these tuners have been dealing with week after week. It varies, and it was another weekend of the weather, of the conditions evening out the playing field to a degree, because it was really a fine line in all of it. So, indeed, indeed, who was it? It was Neil Strasbaugh, I think, who was talking about them getting Scott Palmer to come out there for Bristol. Well, he wasn't coming out for Bristol when he's racing in the money race this weekend. He wasn't going to waste his time with that right now. Yeah, that's true. You're right. You're right about that. It's unfortunate. Um, but Antron, great win. Um, you know, being able to see Matt Hagan get the win, another one, he's right there, number 2 in the points, right behind Ron Capps. J.R. Todd is just lingering in number 3, and there's a win waiting to happen. It just seems like it's always something minuscule that takes them out every single time. And it's going to be a tough year. It seems like the Proc Rocket is starting to come around. I think also the car runs well in conditions that I think that are favorable for them to do well. I think right now with that car, I think when the conditions are, immaculate, where they can run, low 90s, it's touch and go right now. They're still trying to figure that out. But on a hot racetrack, I think it favors them big time. I think they have that, and that's where their tuning window, I think, is at the best right now. They're still trying to figure out the home runs, but it's like Antron said, for both of these classes, it's a toss up every week. You can be put out in first round every week. It doesn't matter who you're lining up against. If it's Clay Milligan, Justin Ashley, Tony Schumacher, Sean Reed, or a Dan Mercier, a Cameron Ferre, a Spencer Massey, a Keith Mert, took a whole shot to beat him. So I think we got a lot of good things going on. Angie, turning on the red light. Again, I'd rather see a rider be aggressive than to be laxed. And I think that's what the bike is there. So that's what I want to see. That's what I'd like to see from Kelly. I think it's time. I know what you're trying to do, but I think it's time to just be aggressive. Let it all hang out. I'd rather see you turn the red light on trying to get after it than to have a good bike and come up short because you're late. Maybe it's more to it because there's a lot that goes to it with these bikes trying to roll up, stage, the whole nine. But I'd rather you be aggressive than to be late. Because at some point, you're going to find the happy medium. And Angie found the Death Star. And I thought she had the bike to beat again. I picked her again. And I think, given the circumstances next, I'd pick her again at this point until proven otherwise. I think she has the best bike on the property within the camp. Got to give Joey Gladstone a ton of credit for how he rode that bike, because it's a fast bike too. But really looking forward to seeing how that goes. And, no Greg and Dallas. You got Matt Hartford. Dallas turns on the cherry. Like it's just a whole entire crazy weekend. And your Drag Race Bracket Bonanza bracket showed it. I had more red in my ledger than Black Widow. So I was looking at IHRA Triple Crown entry list. Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in just a second. Yeah. And I think it has a lot to do with timing. You know what I mean? A lot to do with timing. And I also think that you'll see them, I believe, at Maple Grove because of the circumstances, the people, and the whole Napa deal. But I think they looked at things, and you look at the amount of cars that are there. They have to turn it around next week as well. So they will be racing next weekend. So I think that all plays a small role in why they are not showing up. So who would drive the AB car? Oh, we already know. You know, Fred. You know who it is. She's driving in A Fuel right now. Yeah. She will be that individual to take over that ride. Well, we're going to take a break. We'll go and give you your Drag Race Bracket Bonanza top 10, and then we'll talk a little IHRA Triple Crown coming up there at is it Hebron, Ohio? We'll do that. But we'll do that after the break.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
Well, it is fun. And we do stay engaged a lot. And as we know, week after week after week, the top 10 continues to change. And it changed again. So, without further ado, here is your Drag Race Bracket Bonanza top 10 after the Thunder Valley Nationals. In number one spot, SST 5345 with 622.459 at number one. Black Widow 1320 in second at 618.062. You got Black NHRA 1 in third, 617.354. In fourth, Cupcake 613.328. Fifth, Sans Gallbladder at 611.776. In sixth, Jambo at 609.003. In seventh, Magic Z28 at 606.394. And O2 Plum in eighth at 606.043. In ninth, Chucky 1 at 605.665. Last but not least, James Lose 2 in 10th at 604.938. And it is a close race between 10th and 11th. He's got to keep putting points up. He's got a trailer. I mean, he's hot on the trail there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your Drag Race Bracket Bonanza Top 10. Well, man, it is going to be a really cool deal. We are going to look, I'm going to change this so we can see a little bit better. We are going to look at the NotBland Show League and see where we stand there. And right now, your winner of the Thunder Valley Nationals was Nitro Scooter. You can tell how bad it was for everyone. When you win with 75.567 points, it was a bad day. It was tough. It was tough out there in the streets. You see Dave W. there in second there for the Thunder Valley Nationals. We will go to our top 10 of 2026 through the Thunder Valley Nationals. And number one, still sitting at the top there, Nikki Clark is still there at 594.492. And second is myself at 566.976. And third, WPR58 at 552.462. And fourth, Mac 1320 at 542.873. In fifth, look who's in number 5 all of a sudden. Dave W. 497.833. He's got a ways to go, though, to get it in the top 4. But that's a tremendous jump from where he was, as he had a rough start to the season. Sixth, Memphis Lonnie at 495.495. Nitro Scooter at 488.378. And seventh, eighth is Drag Race Girly 99 at 481.191. Ironhead Motorsports in ninth with 464.113. And to round out the top 10 is Kelsey C at 457.49. And that is the NotBland Show top 10. It was tough, man. It was a tough and rough weekend within the Drag Race Bracket Bonanza community. Fortunate enough for us, this guy just went to sleep on us. We're just going to keep it sleeping. Fortunate enough for us, we have another race. So, man, that would have been good this week. We have time to make up for it next week. Or in 2 weeks, I should say. So it should be a good one there. The IHRA will be racing this weekend. I'm loving what we're seeing and how many cars. I know Dave has been texting me. Dave has been texting me throughout and just excited about this weekend and how many cars that we have showed up for this particular round one or race one of three for this $1 million deal. And it's pretty interesting here, man. Like he said, I just joined the Drag Race Bracket Bonanza this week. Can you invite me? I will. As a matter of fact, the code to this is NotBland, and I will put that up in the ticker right now. All lowercase, NotBland. We got 11 fuel alters so far. I don't know if it will change by then. Funny car, you have 15 cars, some notable names, that are only notable name really that's coming from the outside that would be just strictly NHRA, you would think, is Paul Lee. Terry Haddock's going to be there. John Capps on the list. Joseph Haas on the list. John Smith on the list. Our guy, Nitro Joe Morrison, will be on the list in the Hirschhauser racing car that he drives over there and has shown up at NHRA races. We have Jack Wyatt, Jeff Deal, Del Worsham, Dave Gallows, Dan Hicks, Del Creasy, Bobby Bodie, and Alex Barker. So that's a good round out there. I'm sure if there is more. He said already 161 entries across classes. 12 fuel altered. There was one added. So we have 12 now. I love having Dave in the comments to have us updated here as we look at this list. You look at top fuel, there's 15 of those top fuel dragsters. Notable names, I'll say Mike Salinas is your notable name out of everyone else. And Sean Reed is going to show up here as well. Love seeing Trip Tatum, Spencer Massey on here. Another friend of the show, Krista Baldwin, will be out there. I'm excited about that for her. Getting another, getting an opportunity to get in the seat again and get laps. And I know that she's excited. Kyle Statenstein is going to be there as well. You got Kyle Wartzel, Lee Calloway, Lex June, Scott Palmer, as we talked about, Chuck Lofton. Is it Bernie Pallard? Let's see, Gary Pritchard, of course, Jake Sanders, Jasmine Salinas as well. Yep, that rounds them out for your 15 top fuelers that will be there. Top Alcohol Dragster 7, Pro Stock classes 9. You got 25 Pro Mods, 11 Outlaw Pro Mods. This is pretty cool here. 26 Mountain Motor Pro Stocks for 16 spots, man. And remember, there are 15 cars of each in Top Fuel that are vying for 8 spots. Talk about drama for bump spot to get in the show. 2 sessions. Boy, it's going to be some pressure. It's going to make for some good viewing. 20 Nitro Harleys. The field has already been expanded to 16 bikes and still sending 4 home. It's going to be a good one. No Matty and Ron. Like I said, I think that would be back to back for their team. I think you will see them in Maple Grove. I think that's a guaranteed. I don't know about the 3rd Triple Crown race, but I think they will be at the one in Maple Grove. And I don't blame the team for not showing up here. That's a lot on the team. You raced last weekend in Epping. You come across here. You had a kind of a not too bad of a weekend, but still that's time, that's money, that's effort. And then they'd have to have a quick turnaround to show up here and then have another turnaround to show up. I think we're at Norwalk. So it's a lot, man. That's a lot. And I don't blame them for not being there. A little bit disappointing, but at the same time, I understand. Dave W says, I think alcohol fields are a little light because Norwalk Divisional is the same weekend. Makes sense. So that's the reason why they're light, not for any other reason. Mountain Motor Pro Stock is my pro stock now. I enjoy NHRA Pro Stock, but I love Mountain Motor Pro Stock. Man, that's gonna be fun. Having all those cars vying for those spots, gonna be really good. Let's see, what else did I miss there? I think that's it. Oh, you got the Hemi cars, 8 of those. How's James Daniels driving 2 cars? Maybe you can explain that one. How's James Daniels driving 2 cars? Yeah, she has. It's going to be fun, man. A lot of heavy hitters out there in Top Fuel, and a lot of heavy hitters in Funny Car as well. A lot of these individuals racing Funny Car Chaos, and have shown up. Some of them have shown up at NHRA events as well. This was an interesting one that came across the wire that came. I'll get to that in just a second. Making his return. Yes. Yep. Yeah, that's going to be good to see as well. But this one here, man, remember a while back, Stevie said he was taking time to, give his clients more time. Well, he's coming out to play. I mean, why wouldn't you? You have the potential to win $1 million if you win all 3 of these races. Why wouldn't you? I'm looking forward to it. What's the weather looking like there? It's Jimmy Daniels, father and son. That's why it's like that. What's the weather looking like there, Dave, for this weekend? Should have had you on. They are running to 1,000 foot in the Triple Crown. That is true. These are all 1,000-foot races for the Nitro classes in the Triple Crown and Triple Crown only. So keep that in mind. But National Trail Raceway, Dorana Raceway should be a great event for some good racing. And I'm loving who's out there right now. Alcohol classes, Hemi classes, 1320, Top Fuel and Funny Car to 1,000 feet. Everyone else is still running to the 8th mile, which is your 660 mark. So there you have it. Those are the classes and where they're running to. So I'll leave that up for a little bit. If others are wondering, I'll leave that up for a little bit. And so you guys can kind of simmer on that. But I'm looking forward to this race. We'll be watching it extensively. Nice 3-day weekend. Great way to kind of spend the 3-day weekend and looking at some IHRA. I think it's going to be great action. I think you're going to see a lot of heavy hitting. There's going to be a whole lot of pressure on the line, and you're going to see some real emotion because you got 15, you got full fields, and there's going to be a bumper crop of cars, to quote my man Brian Loams, going to the house. So it's going to be fun to take a look at here. We are getting really close as we are almost through June, and we have one more full month before we start having NFL training camps kick off. And a lot of different things going on within the NFL. Does Brandon Ayuk go to Washington? When will he be released? Does Baker get a new contract before the season, or will they make him play on that really light $27 million deal? He's thrown about as many touchdowns as Matthew Stafford has in the last couple of years, and right 1-2 really at the top. So it'll be interesting to see um, what happens there with all of that. Um, will they go ahead and will the Dallas Cowboys go ahead and give their newly acquired wide receiver um, his money? And we know that that's not really something that Jerry Jones does. And so, will George Pickens get his money? I don't think he will. I think he's going to play on that contract. And George Pickens said it himself. He's going to go out and do what he did last year, and he's going to go out and do what he did at the end of that, and go and earn his money. He's going to bet on himself. And so, can't complain because, people complain about franchise contracts. And I understand people want to have long-term deal. They want to have some type of security. I mean, but at the end of the day, if I sign a 4-year deal, is it really a sense of security? Because we know how NFL contracts are, right? I mean, you can pretty much, after the second or third year, you can take an NFL contract and tear it up because they can do whatever they want. They can send you packing real quick. So, good question. He is. He is serious. He will be there. Memphis Lions says sorry to hear Reinhardt. Yeah. And again, I think some of that probably has to do with his schedule. I did not see the show, so I don't know what all he said. But, he has a pretty extensive schedule of him announcing still outside of NHRA. I mean, people want to hear the guy, and he does a good job. So I'd like to see Southeast Gassers get him to come out for a race and do a race. Um, Gulfport would be awesome. I mean, don't want to push the voice of Southeast Gassers out. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? I'd like to see Brian Loans also doing that as well. Again, that's a father-son deal. Um, we got Penix and we've got Tua in Atlanta, which what's going to happen there? And I think we're going to see it decide out in training camp. Penix not cleared for 11-on-11, but he has done a lot of 7-on-7 drills and looks good doing it. They feel he's ahead of schedule. Health is a big deal for Penix anyway. I think he had both knees injured at one time. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. I'm also looking at the Bengals and Zach Taylor. I feel like Zach Taylor is kind of like he has skated from being fired many times over. I've never really been a Zach Taylor fan in his style of coaching. And don't get me wrong, some of it is also that management does not want to give up good money to people and pay people to help better the football team and to help out their prize fighter, at quarterback. So, what do we do? Because at the end of the day, there's so many teams that have gotten better over there in the AFC that those teams are starting to stack up so much until Cincinnati is kind of getting buried. How long does it take for Patrick Mahomes to come back? And can they win games long enough to secure the ability to have the playoffs in the end when he comes back? I think that's going to be an interesting question because I think Justin Fields is the guy that's going to be running the offense. And I think if anybody knows and paid attention when he was with the Steelers, he did okay in New York with the Jets. But you have to realize what you have in Justin Fields, and he does well with a lot of movement, moving the pocket, and making his legs a part of an element that the defense has to defend. And you kind of have to simplify things a little bit too. I like giving him one half of the field to look at early to get him into a rhythm. Uh, Pittsburgh had a couple plays, or really it was kind of the same play, just kind of a variety or a variance a little bit in the play. Maybe you leak out one more target for him, but they pretty much rolled him left or right, and they're like, look, you got intermediate and you got deep. And if the deep isn't there, you throw it underneath to the intermediate, and that's usually the tight end. Maybe you have a shorter route and you kind of leak the running back out a little bit. Or if none of that is there, you take the ball and run, because you've got three guys that are leaking out to that same side that are trying to run side out, and they're likely going to pick up the blocks of the guys that are trailing them anyway. So you're at least going to get 9 yards. Will that be something that the Kansas City Chiefs do? Very creative bunch over there. I thought that Andy Reid got a little stagnant last year, and now that they have Eric Bieniemy back, I think you'll have a little bit more creativity on that side of the ball. And really what they need they need to have their wide receivers healthy. And I know everybody talks about Rashid Rice and injury, but he got injured by his quarterback. I think people forget that. Not exactly an injury-prone guy when your quarterback barrels right into your knee and injures you. So we'll see if he'll be back 100%. I'm looking at Liam Cohen in year 2 in Jacksonville. I thought they had a pretty decent draft. The team played, I thought, above expected. I think you saw the Liam Cohen effect take effect in year 1. Offense was a lot better. Quarterback play, shaky at best. Trevor Lawrence has the ability, but fails to deliver a lot, and usually is the Achilles heel of that. When he's hot and when he's on, it's great. When he's not, it's very evident, and it really does put pressure on that team, and defensively put pressure on them, because they're not scoring. They don't score nearly as much. So interesting there. What are you guys' thoughts on Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby? Because of his gambling deal, and because there was going to be some type of a lawsuit from another team within college football, he has decided to go into the supplemental draft. I'm interested to see how far and what people are willing to give up for the guy. Now, he did go to rehab for that, but, you can't exactly come to the NFL and bet, right? You know what I mean? And really, there's only been one time, I think, that a supplemental draft player, that someone's given up a first-round pick in a supplemental draft for a player. So at the very least, I think it's a race to who is willing to give up a number 2 pick. Because I think that's what it's going to take. You know how teams are with quarterbacks. There was very few in this draft, and I believe that there was only really one day 1 starter, and I would not start him day 1, and that's your national champion. I still wouldn't start him day 1 either. But how much you're willing to give up for that guy, in hopes that this is not a problem for him. Because if you do this and it's a mistake, it sets your program back. Unless you have some pieces that you can trade off to retrieve the pick you gave up back. Great spot for the Jets to think about a quarterback. I'm really gonna be paying attention to that. It'll be really interesting to see where he goes. But we're getting close. Getting close to the season. You really got a lot of international games this year. I think the first game for preseason, I believe, is I think it's in the first weekend of, or is it like the last weekend of July or something like that. But I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, preseason week 1, the Hall of Fame game is actually August 6th. So it is like the first weekend in August. It'll be the Hall of Fame game. And then the following week is when the whole entire shebang kicks off in preseason. You'll have 3 of those. And week 1 starts September 9th. So I'm looking forward to it. Going to be fun. Until then, we've got tons of drag racing to look forward to. We've got tons of how did I get to know him? I just reached out to him one day. I've met him a few times at the racetrack and had an opportunity to talk with him and Tony a few times. But yeah, just reached out, and he was nice enough to get back and willing to be on the show. So yeah, that's pretty much how, you know what I mean? Especially in those settings where they have the Top Fuel call out. That's pre-recorded in the Top Eliminator Club. So, after that, you kind of get to mingle a little bit. And before that, Tony's usually hanging out, in the Top Eliminator Club, probably off in the corner or, standing there. And he's always willing to talk. And Brian's always, really good and willing to talk. And sometimes I see him before race day and television. You'll see him coming up to the booth or whatever, and I usually kind of catch them in passing a few times. So yeah, that is sweet. It's just funny. He was like, I gotta spend more time, taking care of my clients. And he's like, yeah, but I got this $1 million I can get after too. So I'm gonna go do that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to the show. And look, it's going to be fun this weekend. There's a lot on the line. There's a lot of good cars, and somebody's going to be the first winner that sets them up to go and win and put that $1 million on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, until next Tuesday, good night. Tight like a crossover sleeper, 4th inches in the cold, crowd breathing like smoke, and it felt great in my voice when the pressure gets woke, engine scream through the night, that F1 razor lines cut clean, turn sharp like a hometown savior, NASCAR drift in my blood, when the pace get wild, I talk speed like a veteran, move calm like a smile, legends born out of sweat, out of heartbreaks echo, I break plays down smooth, call the game like a maestro, every lane that we touch, every story we show, this is where the truth runs, the NotBland Show, fast lanes, fast breaks, whole crowd froze, big drives, deep shots, watch a moment explode, every angle hit heavy with the champion's glow, step into the kingdom, the NotBland Show, fast lanes, fast breaks, whole crowd froze, big drives, deep shots, watch a moment explode, every angle hit heavy with the champion's glow, step into the kingdom, the NotBland Show.